I am a senior emergency response officer.
ER volunteer in Manchester.
And a volunteer operational team leader.
An emergency response officer for the northeast of England.
In emergency response and refugee services.
I work for ambulance support in the northeast for British Red Cross.
The notion of the peer support within the British Red Cross has come about because we recognise that the notion of supporting peers who are involved in dealing with difficult and adverse experiences in a workplace-related way is something that we need to pay much more attention to.
The Red Cross have a fantastic backup for volunteers and staff, and this is what the training we're doing today, which is peer support, so helping our fellow staff members and volunteers.
As a manager of those teams, it's about identifying the signs and symptoms of somebody that's affected by trauma and crisis, and then developing some sort of strategy for intervention to provide support for those people.
I tend to deal with our staff who go out to quite traumatic events, working for frontline A&E ambulance. So I deal with them when they come into the office and want to talk about the kind of jobs that they've seen and the people that they've dealt with.
You don't have an awful lot of time to think about what's going on. It's mainly perhaps afterwards when you leave the scene that you begin to realise the impact.
Some of our staff and volunteers do realise that whether they know it's post-traumatic stress or not, they know they don't feel right, and they know that they're taking longer to process something that they originally thought it'd take. So I wouldn't say that our guys instantly know that they have something to deal with, and it's part of our job, I think, to encourage them into the office to come and speak to us and start that process.
Supporting peers in that kind of an environment and having that regular support from a colleague who understands and has a good understanding of the work that you do in that environment is really important, because they can relate to what you might be feeling, what you might be thinking, and the sort of experiences that you've been through.
There's a training ongoing, talking to my colleagues.
We have the scenarios and practical exercises we do.
Within British Red Cross, we have various opportunities to speak in confidence via telephone.
We have a psychosocial practitioner who we have monthly meetings with, and that's a space where we can talk about our experiences, how we feel. We are operating as a team and address any issues that we might have.
I am fortunate to have wonderful colleagues and wonderful team leaders that I can go and talk to.
And we seem to keep meeting familiar faces from across the regions, from this amazing family.
I can definitely say the London ER team is very close-knit, and we have formal debriefs and hot debriefs and cold debriefs that we do always kind of go back and just talk along themselves and say what went well, what was challenging.
When they have jobs that are quite traumatic or jobs that stay with them longer than they probably should, and they think about it when they go home at night. When they come to a group situation and they're given that safe space to talk, there's no rights or wrongs, there's no questioning their abilities, however long they've worked for us. And it just gives them that chance to realise that that person who's worked here a long time, or who I look up to, actually feels exactly the same way as I do. Or my manager, who I respect and look up to, they also know what it's like to go out on the road, and they've also had these jobs that have stayed with them, or they've had to work through, or they've had to meet with the psychosocial support person to process it, and it just makes it a lot more normal.